Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. Where are we at? 1144. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I've got Dan's shirt on. We're supposed to get a snowstorm. What the fuck? I'm going to be dropping F bombs if we get snow. It's been cold. Here's the thing. We didn't get winter. So Mother Nature decided, well, we didn't give you winter. We're going to skip spring and give you winter in the spring. Hopefully it doesn't skip summer. As long as it doesn't skip summer, give us some spring. The sooner the better. But cold, it's rainy. Apparently it's going to turn to snow. I'm trying to avoid how much we're supposed to get, hopefully. And I was just thinking yesterday, I picked up my Goodwill Pallet yesterday, so I'll talk about that. I'll show off. I've only scratched the surface. I haven't even opened the hatch yet. I just pulled some binders in a box and literally a trash bag that was in the back seat and the front seat. So as I was unloading the tables from the card show this past weekend, I'm putting the tables up against the wall next to the snowblower. And I'm like, I can probably put the snowblower over on the side where it's not, in the way. And I'm like, yeah, it is April. It is April. I got the shovel, which I never used in the porch. So I think I can start de-winterizing. And then I see the new, and I'm like, wait, it's April effing 1st. Are these legit forecasts, or is it like a joke? The thing is, and I don't think it was, but I don't think news that I talked about my disdain for April Fool's Day. I think we got out unscathed, right? There were a few like tweets that I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, that's just a fake check marker. That's just a fake, like trade story. Like, oh, you could read those a mile away. Oh, wait, it's April Fools. But I didn't get had. I didn't get Sid Finched. I hate April Fool's Day. I just hate April Fool's Day. And it's so stupid. They're not even funny. Not even funny. We did when I worked in radio, we were showing the morning show website yesterday morning. My co-host loved April Fool's Day. And of course, morning radio, goofballs have to do stupid shit on April Fool's Day. And I don't remember. I know we did a couple, but I don't really recall. Obviously, they weren't that great, were they? If you can't remember, I was there. I can't remember what they were. The best prank I remember, though, and I don't think it was April Fool's related. This is the early 2000s. We're talking like 2003, 2004. Somebody told me on Twitter I'm old. They're like, you were born because, it was Sean Dunston. It was his birthday last week. And I have a couple signed baseballs from when Sean Dunston was like his very first professional baseball season with the Quad City Cubs. And I showed one of the balls. And Sean Dunston was drafted number 1 overall by the Cubs on June 6th, 1982, which is my birthday. That was the day I was birthed, June 6th, 1982. Somebody on Twitter was like, geez, you're old. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. I am. Where was I going with that? Sean Dunston, old, 1982. Shit, I can't remember. See? I'm getting old. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Morning show. Pranks. Oh, pranks. So this is early 2000, 2003, 2004. This is when internet soundboards were started to become a thing, where you could just hit a button and it's the voice of. In this instance, it was Miss Cleo. This was also when Miss Cleo was popular. Remember, Miss Cleo? She's the Jamaican psychic. I think that was it, right? Miss Cleo, call Miss Cleo. And so there was a Miss Cleo soundboard. And, there's various sound bites from Miss Cleo. So my co-host, I was the young, stupid part of the show. And my co-host was the straight guy who was also had like his comedic timing and he was very good. He was a very good morning show guy. And so he came up with this idea to do a soundboard. And we actually gotten what made this morning show that we hosted together fun was we were able to get engagement from listeners, which is very difficult in radio, to get people to call in, not for prizes. It's very easy to get people to call in if there's money or concert tickets on the line, but try to get them to call in to tell them your deepest, darkest secret. It's a little difficult. So our idea, Chris's idea, Chris was my co-host, Chris's idea, basically all ideas came from him. Chris said, let's use a soundboard. Let's have somebody, let's trick them and think they're actually talking to, in this case, it was Miss Cleo. Like their psychic friends. Was that psychic friends? No, that was Dionne Warwick. Whatever Miss Cleo psychic. So, so here we are. And we're like, hey, we've got Miss Cleo. And we had celebrities. When I was looking at our website, Ant, whoever the hell that was, he was a comedian. I remember he was a comedian. Ant was on. We had a couple of the Bachelors, pre-Bachelorette. Bachelor Bob. I remember Bachelor Bob was on our show once. Who else did we have on? Like D-list celebrities. I think we had some like famous ones, but they're all the same. Like I had Derek Jeter on a show. I developed a relationship with some publicist that I was able to get like all these. And with Derek Jeter, it was like, you've got to be like, Derek's only giving, this was ahead of the World Baseball Classic in 2008, 9. No, it would have been before that. 2005, 4, 6, somewhere in there. So you had to be, he's like, hey, I've got Derek Jeter, but it's only going to the first 5 people that respond. So I respond and he's like, oh, you're the classic. You're the 6th. He's like, but I can give you Reggie Jackson. And I'm like, hey, that's a pretty damn good consolation prize. Reggie Jackson. Okay, I'll take it. So then he goes, hey, sorry to go back and forth, but we can fit you in on Jeter. So I was able to interview Derek Jeter. I had Andre Dawson on. These were like this was my sports program. So it was fun. Morning radio was fun. Anyway, Miss Cleo, back to Miss Cleo. So we have the soundboard ready. We're going to take a caller. And fortunately, we were able to get a guy who was pretty gullible, I think. I can't remember his name. I probably shouldn't share it anyway, and I think it was a pretty uncommon name. It was like Shan or something. Anyway, Shan calls in. I bet Mark Twitchell probably knows him. But he calls in and Miss Cleo, and like he believes it's Miss Cleo. He believes it's Miss Cleo, and the things he's like, the conversation that we were able to have between a soundboard and this caller that calls into our morning show was amazing. It just, everything fit. Like we had, and this was like early soundboards. So we had like 20 comments. So like the first like minute was gold. And then it's all of a sudden like it starts to unwind the further you go because of, well, we don't have an answer to that one. But it just worked so well. And I think so. My co-host, we were talking about this. It's God, we barely catch up anymore. But last time I talked to him, we were talking about the morning show, and he kept every single morning show tape. Now, this is for the kids. This was on cassette tape. We'd have this cassette tape, and it recorded every time you hit the microphone. You're live. It would record. And so for air checks. And so he kept every single, and he would like label it like Bo does something stupid, which was like every day. But this is what Bo did today. That was a category. Bo does something stupid. What's he do? Oh, he did this, and this. And he donated them to the Macomb Historical Museum or something. So they have. Hopefully they're transferring them digitally. That would be awesome if they could do that digitally. Although I don't want to hear a lot of them. I have some like promos. I think I tried to run. I think on my lap when this was back at the old house because I was running the show Hobby Evolution from my laptop. It had a CD drive, and this computer doesn't. I don't think most do anymore. But I do have a disc of like promos and stuff from the morning show. But it was awesome. Miss Cleo. And it just worked. I had to have Chris cut my mic because I was laughing so hard. I had to our studio, where Chris was like the engineer. Like he ran the thing. I was just like the dumbass dude over on the side. Like, I was like the intern basically, but I was the full-time radio host, but I just acted like an intern. And I was about the age of it. I was college age at the time. And so where Chris was engineering, it was like in a U shape. So to his right and to his left and straight ahead was like this giant radio board. Right. And then to the left was like the K100 motherboard, like where all the radio stuff is going. Top of the board on the top shelf was like the show notes and then the cassette deck so we could record. And then to the right was like the internet computer, which was also plugged into the board as well. That's where we were getting the Miss Cleo. And then I was on the other side just hanging out, reading the newspaper. And I was laughing so hard. I was like peeing my pants laughing. It was wild. So that was a fun, but it was not April Fool's. I hate April Fool's, but that was not April Fool's. Dan says Yuri Del Harris portrayed Miss Cleo, a spokeswoman for a psychic pay-per-call minute called Psychic Readers Network, in a series of TV commercials that aired 1997 to 2003. She died in 2016. She was young, 53 years old. So the TV commercials, and they were on all the time. If you're a little older than Max, he doesn't know what cassette tapes are. They aired all the time, like Fox usually like late at night. So this would have been, so if the commercials aired 2003, so yeah, this radio skit we did was probably 03, 04, because it was like right at the end of the popularity of Miss Cleo. All right, where are we at? I want to get to a comment before we get to the top, though. I saw Sports Card Ripping Teacher says, I'll be driving my wife to work for a while after her surgery. I was going to ask you to drop an F-bomb for her honor, but you took care of that. Yes, we dropped the F-bomb. Dan's in the house. He says, sell the treadmill. I don't know what that means. Sell the treadmill. We have a treadmill. It's just never been, it's been used, but it hasn't been used in this house. Good morning, Tracy. It's taking up actually, the room's really small. It fits the treadmill and an elliptical, and that's it. We haven't even mounted a TV in there yet. That's my excuse. I'm not using the treadmill because there's not a TV mounted in the workout room. Victor, good morning. Cold rain and snow this week. Go Cubs. Cubs get a game in yesterday and they get a dub. Cubs are 500, 2-2 on the season. They beat the Colorado Rockies. Fun game. Shota Imanaga, major league debut, had a no-hitter going for 5 2/3, had 9 strikeouts. Christopher Morel with a little league home run. It was a single, but he scored. That was fun. That was, I think, 3 runs. And I've got Christopher Morel. I'm like, yes. I get a run. I get 2 RBI, and I'm like, oh, shit. The runs were all scored on errors. So wasn't very fantasy beneficial. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Very interested in actually giving Goodwill a full tub of 2011 to 2022 Topps base cards. I would be too. When I see these days, when I get these Goodwill pallets and I see a box of nothing but like 2021 Topps base, I'm like, oh, it's the same reaction as when I see those yellow bordered 91 Fleer. Like, oh, here we go. Stuff it on a shelf. I'll get to it another time. So it's Topps base, junk wax, and modern basketball. Doesn't matter. If it's basketball, it's like, those are my 3 least favorite parts of buying bulk or buying from Goodwill. Tracy, good morning. I remember snow in April as a kid. Glad to be in South Carolina and not have to deal with that. I know it sucks, man. It sucks. A few years ago, and when I say a few, this is also something when you get old, you say, oh, that was only a few years ago. That was 13 years ago. A few years ago, which probably would have been 8 years ago, we had about 8 inches of snow at the end of April, like April 22nd or something. So here we are. So it's not out of the ordinary to have a snowstorm at the beginning of April. Don't like it. Don't want it. Hopefully the weather stays above freezing and we just get rain. David, good morning. George in the house. What's happening? Max says, I'm sure you wouldn't want to be south of you, rather have snow than tornadoes. You know, I'd rather have tornadic weather than snow. Absolutely. Now, do I want a tornado to like blow my house over? Absolutely not. But when tornadoes come through, it's like, what happens when tornadoes come through 98% of the time, maybe even 99% of the time? It damages some corn. I'm sorry to the farmers for damaging your corn, but most often houses are saved from the tornadoes and it's just a bunch of farmland. James, what's up? In the past 30 days, I've bought 25 PWE shipping on eBay. Only 4 arrived. eBay is great at sending refunds. You might want to check in with your local post office on that because that's really out of the ordinary. I'm sending hundreds, if not over 1,000 a week. And over 1,000 a week. And I haven't had a claim, knock on wood. I haven't had a claim in, let's just look at, we're April 2nd. Let's look at March. Let's look at my claims in March. And I do know, and it's very hit or miss, but when I see things like this, my first thought goes to there's something happening either at a regional sorting center or it's something happening locally. You know, are they getting kicked back or are they just lost? I want to go to because I know we had our friends in North Dakota are having issues in North Dakota with their sorting facility on the standard envelope. I don't even know where to find it if I don't have any open returns, cancellations. Where's it at? I guess the open returns. Requests, maybe that's it. So it's happened so I don't have any. Let's see. Let's do closed. And we'll just do last 30 days. Actually, it looks like I had 19. Well, actually, no, that's 19 cards. So let's do orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7. So I had 7 out of, let's see, orders, all orders. So last 30 days. Oh, we got to do last 30. So I had what, 7? Oh, how come last 30 days isn't, I don't get this on eBay. Like last 90 days, today, yesterday, this week, last week, this month, last month, this year, last year, custom. But like in other areas, like shouldn't it all be uniform? Like last 30, da-da-da. So I got to do custom. So what's 30 days? Would that be March 2nd? Come on. Why is it not allowing me to edit this damn button? Manage all orders, custom. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. So last 30 days. That's not 30. That's 31. Okay. Now we go to 30. 15, about 1,500 orders in the last 30 days. Oh, I know why. I'm like, that's not a lot. That's really low number. I know why, because my spring training numbers were so low. So 7 out of 1,500 were my items not received numbers. And in fact, I don't know. Some of those may have been closed because I did have I know I had a couple that were opened and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it showed up like a week later. And so they closed it. So at max, 7 out of 1,500, which is actually higher than normal. Usually it's like 7, 8 out of 3,000. So I am seeing a higher number because that should be out of 1,500 orders. That should be like 3. Good morning, sports card ripping teacher. Cubs are on fire. Max doesn't know what the radio is. Good morning, Cooter. Congrats on another pallet. And I don't know what this pallet's going to bring. Early indications. There's some fun stuff, but it could be loaded with junk wax. There could be a lot of junk wax. As I was going through the last pallet, now I missed one. Actually, I think I might have missed 2 in a row. The last one that I did get was like all modern, like Bowman Chrome, autograph, like just loaded. This one's not loaded with modern. This one, a lot of junk wax, but there's still some hidden gems. I'll show some of what I've pulled so far. We just got to that one. We got to Dan's comment there. Good morning, Zach in Georgia. What's going on? Vince, who is sports card ripping teacher, did a April Fool's joke. He believed it till the end. Max says, are cassette tapes what you put in the VCR? Kinda, yeah. I mean, you could call a VHS tape a cassette tape, a VHS cassette. Educate and entertain. Maybe the White Sox scoring a run yesterday would have been a better joke, right? Zach says a great win for his Braves. James says, why do sellers say the item is shipped right after you buy the card on eBay? Because they want to retain top-rated seller plus status. Now, they also have to get it postmarked at the same time. I think it's just so they can say it's been shipped within a certain time period, but it's also got to be, I think that's how it works, right? TRS plus, to get that, to get those benefits, I think you have to have it. It's got to be postmarked within a day or whatever it is. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? Chris says, Miss Cleo, didn't see that one coming too soon, right? Mike Cho, what's up? He's in Florida on vacation. I found a couple Cubs cards for you. I'll bring them to the next show. I should be able to make it April 20th. I don't have a specific banner for the April show, but I do have a banner for the upcoming dates. April 20th, May 25th, and June 22nd. So enjoy Florida, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Red Rum, good morning. Steve's in the house. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Bo is counting cards, and the Cubs are counting dubs. It's going to be a good day. We're at the latest card was who was my latest card? Luis Verdugo, who I ripped some wax with at spring training this year. I found like a atomic something or sapphire. I don't know what it was, but it's green. It's numbered out of 99. First Bowman Chrome auto of Luis Verdugo. It actually, the Ferry Brothers gave that to me. It's card 999,916. Got it at the Madison Card Show on Saturday. I had missed a couple boxes because they were so busy. So I'd gone through and I bought a whole bunch of cards from them. At the end of the show, I came back, circled back to the two boxes I hadn't looked at. That was the only card that piqued my interest. And they looked at it and they're like, you can have it. And I'm like, dude, thanks. And so I told them the story. So thank you, Ferry Brothers, for the Luis Verdugo and the good deal on all the stuff I bought. Brian, good morning. Go Hawkeyes. I watched the game. I wasn't planning on it. Iowa LSU last night in women's basketball. I wasn't planning on watching the game. I have watched a few Iowa women's basketball games this year. Caitlin Clark is so much fun to watch. And I'm like, I really don't care. I mean, I don't even care about the men's tournament. So I came downstairs after dinner. And I was going through the garbage bag that was in the Goodwill Pallet, literally a garbage bag. I'll get to it in a second. And I had Monday Night Raw on. And then I'm like, you know what? I saw somebody tweet about the game, and I'm like, I'm going to watch the game. And I'm like, damn, this is a good game. So I caught the second half. It was good. Iowa won. I was rooting for the Hawkeyes. So they will play. Who will they play now? They're in the Final Four. So they play either USC or somebody else that played last night after them. I didn't see the score. But whenever that game is next week, I don't know. I'll try to watch. Depends on when they play. I guess we can always Google it. That's what we have Google for. NCAA women's tournament schedule. Final Four. We've got UConn versus Iowa Friday night. Okay, so 8:30 late tip-off. So I will be in Chicago that day, but we are coming back, so I'll probably be back home. Let's see. Zach and Porter's in the house. What's going on? What's up, Peter? Good morning. Zach says, I had a tornado hit my farm last summer. It destroyed my greenhouse and barn doors. Well, that sucks. See, we don't want that. We just want it to hit wide open spaces. We don't want it to damage. I guess it damages property if it damages crops. We don't want it to damage. We don't want it to damage anything. Mikey, good morning. I wonder. Good morning, Kevin. Unicorn Cupcakes in the house. I wonder, and there's got to be data on this. What causes more damage? Or what costs more money? Tornadoes? And we're talking about like cleanup and damage, or snowstorm. You would think snow costs way more than tornadoes. I mean, it's just snow is much more common than tornadoes. Tom Coleman, East Coast Tom in the house. Good morning. It is a rainy Madison. It's very gloomy. It just put me in a shitty mood yesterday. Like, it's gloomy, it's cold, but baseball's on. Matty Ice, what's up? Good morning. We got to hear the song. Shane's in the house. Good morning. Let's go Hawkeyes. Fun game. A lot of people are saying hi to each other in the chat. Maddie says Imanaga was as good as I thought he'd be. If he keeps that up, we have another ace. I was a little concerned once he got to the third time through the order. That's when he was kind of yelling. Oh, baby. It's a big one. Once he got to the third time through the order, then they started to hit him. And I'm like, ooh, have they figured him out already? So we'll see. Mark's in the house. Good morning. Bought a huge collection of hockey cards, 1960s through 80. A lot of complete sets and stars. Can't wait to sort through them. That sounds fun. I don't even like hockey, but that sounds fun. Duke's in the house. Good morning. Are you continuing to collect more Cubs after you hit 1 million, or do you have to stick at exactly that many? I am psychotic, but not that psychotic. I had a coworker who, I think it was Twitter or Facebook. Maybe it was Facebook. He had to have 100 friends, only 100 friends. And if he became it was like exclusive company if he accepted your friendship on Facebook, because it meant he had to delete another friend. So he kept 100 friends on Facebook. And if he all of a sudden he becomes friends with somebody, they become close, somebody got the axe. So I think I got in the circle, but I'm pretty sure I got booted out of the circle as soon as we stopped work. You're done. You're out. No, I am not psychotic like that. I will keep collecting Cubs that I don't have. There's a lot of blanks that need to be filled pre-war. Obviously, a lot of modern stuff, all the serial numbers. I don't have to have everything, obviously. We're never going to have everything. But it's fun to collect and see how much you can get. I've thought about continuing my count, but I don't want to do that because then people will think, oh, you're going for – I don't want people to assume I want their 88 Donruss. That's what I want to avoid. Stop giving me your 87 tops. I'm done. So will I still collect Cubs? Yes. The count will be over 1 million, but I'll be willing to part with duplicates. I won't be taking in 87 tops unless they just appear in my mailbox. But that's the plan. Need to get them organized. George says Cubs need to invest in a better pyro show. Brian's in the house. Good morning. Mark says, I've experienced many terrible Mets seasons. This may go down as a top 10 stinker. You're worse than Cubs fans. 4 games into the season. Are the Mets 0-4? Max says UConn. So that's the Iowa opponent. Jeremy, what's up? Few more weeks and Caitlin will be in Indiana Fever. Halliburton, Richardson, and Clark, Indy Sports. Mark says, buddy of mine has tickets to WrestleMania. He rented a U-Haul to bring back all the merch. Wow, that is hardcore. It's WrestleMania weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll be watching a little WrestleMania this weekend. Probably not much, but we'll see. Max says the Pacers suck. Flawed Thinker says good morning. John says Jeff Wilson causes more damage. And Brian laughs. Philly Joe says, I talked to my local post office, had to set eBay PWE straight with the main dude, who is a nice guy. They were rejecting PWEs due to rigidity incorrectly. I also always deliver in person. There you go. And there's not if you have a problem, it's not there are things you can do to potentially avoid, but sometimes in Jason's case, who brought it up on Hobby Evolution and also in the Facebook group, it's just sometimes you just got to keep going further and further to the top and hey, we've got to get this figured out. Sometimes it's as simple as just stop taking them inside the post office, which is what I did long ago, and drop them in a blue box. If the blue box doesn't work, find another blue box, find a different post office. Usually that takes care of it, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just have to figure out where the problem is. And people are like, well, how are you packaging? You can't use card. Well, I'm not using cardboard. I'm using a piece of paper and a card saver, which is flexible. It's not rigid. That's why I don't like using top loaders. Top loaders are rigid. Why are a lot of these getting rejected? Because of rigidity. Top loaders tend to be more rigid. Well, not tend, are more rigid than card savers. So it's not like you can just say, well, this is the problem and fix it. It's the problem is usually the post office itself, and not even the post office itself, but it's like one person, one employee that's causing the issue, wherever it may be. Brian, good morning. He says, could be Euchre's last opening day. Will you listen? No. Why start now? George says, I'm voting Kurt for hobby president and Jeff is VP. Harlan, good morning. Matty Ice, went to the Pacers game last night. They sure didn't show it if they suck. Max says, Brian, doesn't you do like 2 innings and call it quits for like the past 5 years? Kevin says, what a savage coworker. I like it. Yeah. When he told him, like, this is really bizarre. And he was serious. That was the thing. I'm like, oh, is this April Fool's? No. I wonder. Let's look him up. We're not going to show him his name on camera or anything, but I'm curious. Like, I wonder, I'm sure we're not Facebook friends, but I think he did. Let's see. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Yes, I was excommunicated from his Facebook page. We do have 22 mutual friends, so 22 were saved. Let's see. Does he have more than 100 friends? I think he does. I can't see all of them. I mean, and some of the people he kept, why did he keep them? But I have been excommunicated. I think he went over 100. I think he grew out of that. But I am no longer one of this inner circle. Max says, I'm a Bucks fan. Probably my least favorite team in the league. Players are dopes. I don't have a most favorite or a least favorite NBA team. I just don't follow the NBA. I did hate the Pacers in the 90s. Reggie Miller was like my least favorite player of all time. But now he's funny. He's in commercials, and it's like I kind of like the guy. But I don't have like a least favorite. Like, everybody hates LeBron. I like LeBron. I'll root for LeBron James. What other teams are like? The Warriors. People don't like the Warriors are pretty likable, I think. I don't mind them. I'm indifferent on the NBA in general. Duke says the 100 Friends sounds like the speed dial bit from Friends or whatever show that was on. Matty Ice says, I'll say no comment other than I do like Middleton. I have a friend in Indy that is close with his family, so got to meet him a couple times. Tiger727, good morning. Going to the Brewers home opener. Probably driving home in a snowstorm. Yuck. Drive safe. John says, I'm a blue box guy. Same. I try eliminating humans. Same. By the way, I use card savers and cardboard. See, I no cardboard here. Card savers only. But I do try to eliminate humans, and I'm a blue box guy. Mark Stillwagon, good morning. UConn playing Iowa. Good morning, Porter. Jordan's in the house. Cubs got their second win. Hope I can comment this 85 to 95 times this year. Amen to that. Brian says, you calls every home game. He hasn't traveled with the team for a few years. The man is 90. Good for him. He is a national treasure. I'm not going to listen to the broadcast, but he is a national treasure. Dude, what's going on? The Postal Service has a lot of hard asses with an axe to grind. Just my opinion. Every time a standard envelope takes 15 days to deliver. Kyle's in the house. Good morning. Hobby Evolution is keeping me alert on this rainy morning drive. How's the palette look for NASCAR on first glance? Well, none of the binders. So there were, how many binders? I got like 4 in here. Another like 8 in there. I think there's still a couple in the car. I don't think any of the and usually, as you know, you've gotten about 20 binders, I think. Usually there are lots in binders. I didn't really look. It was cold. I had to pee really bad when I was loading my car up. And I'm like, it was one of those where I'm like doing the dance. Like, do I ring the bell and ask if I can use their bathroom? It's like, no, I can hold out. Just stop thinking about my pee. Stop thinking about having to go pee. So I had to pee. It was cold. And then it started to rain, which didn't help the fact that I had to pee. And I hear the delicate drops of rain on various items in the parking lot. And I'm like, shit. There, by the way, I was outside, but it's covered, so nothing got wet. Including my drawers. I did not pee my pants. I was even able to make it home before I had to pee. So anyway, enough about my bladder. I was in a hurry loading things up, so I did not look into boxes. I would say at first glance, it doesn't look good for NASCAR. I was going through a box last night. I pulled one. I thought there was one random NASCAR card, and that's been it so far. Matty Ice says, Reggie Miller, boom. Reggie didn't even like Reggie. Shane says, after this year, I think Draymond Green is done. Even the worst teams in the NBA, I don't think will pick him up next year. Why would you want that cancer on your team? I agree with that. He's always in trouble. He's like a mild Dennis Rodman. J2 Detroit, what's up? Only thing that matters is if you were in someone's MySpace top 8. MySpace top 8. See, that's why I'm with John Keating on what did he say? I try to eliminating humans. Like, it's just, I don't want drama. And like the MySpace top 8, I remember like when MySpace was a thing, like my girlfriend at the time was like, oh my God, I'm not in Lacey's top 8. And it's like, who the fuck cares? F-bomb. Who cares? It's a fucking MySpace page. Like, I hate drama. When I was at spring training, like we have this huge group of people. And I just stay away from like a lot of like group, like when I go out there, it's just me, but there's some couples. And obviously when you have couples and you're in groups, there's like bickering. And sometimes it's like, you didn't pick me up. Oh, you didn't tell me you were going here. And it's like, I just stay away from it all. And that's why it's like, I just do my own thing. So we were talking about that. The last night, there was just a couple of us left at the tent. And I'm like, there was like a dramatic, I was like literally in the middle of it, like husband to my left, wife to my right. And the wife was like kind of blowing the husband off, and the husband's like having a freaking panic attack. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, is this real? Is this April Fool's? And I asked one of the other guys, actually, they like came the next morning. They're like, what'd you think of that? And I'm like, was that real? Like, I literally thought they were joking. Like, oh no, that happens like every day. I'm like, how can you live like that with all that drama and stress in your life? Oh, relax. Oh my God, I'm not in the MySpace top 8. Mark says, been a Knicks fan since 1975. Hated Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller in the 1990s. Glad to see them doing well again. I could see from other teams. So I was indifferent on Michael Jordan. Like the first trifecta, I was a big Bulls fan. The second trifecta, when Jordan retired, right. When Jordan went to play baseball, was forced to play baseball. Well, actually, even during the third championship was what Shaq's rookie year. When Shaq came into the league, I became a huge Shaquille O'Neal fan. And then that turned in, and then they drafted Penny Hardaway the next year. And it's like Shaq and Penny, man, I'm an Orlando Magic fan. I had the starter jacket. That means you're a real fan if you have the starter jacket. Because that was good. I mean, for me, I was poor. Starter jacket, that was big money. Orlando Magic, I was a fan. So when Jordan and the boys got back together, I didn't like the Bulls. That third, like, I should have because I'm a Chicago fan, but I was Orlando. And actually at that point in time, I think I probably still was Orlando. I was like kind of not into the NBA anymore. But I could see why Michael Jordan was, but I didn't hate him at that point in time. Like I didn't care. I think I was indifferent. I was a Michael Jordan fan. The first trifecta, the second trifecta was like, I don't care. Brian just wants to just show us the cards. Baseball card curmudgeon. What is up? Enjoy the palette. Thank you. Let's get through the chat and I'll show you some of what I got. Brian went to Best Buy yesterday to get a new modem. I saw they had blasters of Series 1. I bought 2 and pulled an Ellie De La Cruz home field advantage made for a fun rip. How about that for a Best Buy buy? Tom is still my friend on MySpace. You know, MySpace still exists. It's now more like music. I think it still exists. My account, I don't think exists. It still exists. Red Hot Chili Peppers, 9 Inch Nails, Slipknot, and Kiss to headline Louder Than Life lineup. Dan says, is that the same girl that didn't want you wearing that hillbilly Halloween outfit? No, different girl. That was the heart. She was the heart of country. I shouldn't say that. She was the heart of country music that I wore the hillbilly Halloween outfit. And it wasn't even Halloween. I think that was the biggest hang up. It wasn't Halloween. George says the wife was blowing the husband while you watched. That was not happening. No, that was not happening. Max says the dumbasses that cared about social media are the ones who love to read People magazine and watch ET. Oh, Entertainment Tonight. Lead an interesting life so you don't have to give a shit about others. There you go. But Rodman was a good player. Red Light 34 is in the house. So let's see. I picked up some good stuff. The binders are always like in my Goodwill pallets. Binders are always fun. Because sometimes it's just a bunch of like random like commons. So I'm going through this binder last night. I've got to run to the other room to get the card, but I'm going through this binder and it's just like commons and there's like a Derek Jeter card and there's, you know, and it's just random stuff, like nothing. But then all of a sudden I see a card and it looks like a base card, but I'm like, wait, which means I need to pay closer attention when I'm going through some of this stuff. Like, wait. I did already grab it. So it's in this pile somewhere. So I'm going through this binder. Here it is. And it's just in a 9-pocket page. Now, today, you're like, oh, so what? But 20 years ago, this was like the hottest card. No, it's not Brian Taylor. That would have been, 30 years ago? But it's still, this card is still like, I looked it up and it's still like a $25 card. It's a 2003 Bowman's Best rookie auto Ryan Howard. Now this, I've got to find an old Beckett, but like, I think in 04 or 05, Ryan Howard was like every Ryan Howard card was on the hot list of Beckett. And this was probably a $150 card in 2004. I'll have to find the Beckett, but now I think the lowest, there's a few on eBay. I think the lowest one is 25 or $30. So that was a fun find in just a binder. Yeah, these are some random cards that I just set aside. Sometimes when there's junk wax, I just start like putting them in a pile to bulk away and realize maybe I should watch a little closer. There was some 1994 Upper Deck Minor League. This isn't a big card, but it's still Derek Jeter. It's worth a couple bucks. It's got, you see the edge up on the top corner, but still, I'm not going to bulk it away. That's for sure. Some modern tops. There was the camo Joey Lucchesi 2019 camo. These are numbered out of 25. So, probably list that for, I don't know, $3 or $4. Now here's the thing. I show off, sometimes there's these nice boxes with brand new Bowman with Bowman Chrome Autos and Jackson Holidays. But not all Goodwill pallets are like that. Not every box in a pallet is like that. Sometimes they come in literally a trash bag. Now we're talking like a black trash bag, like a literal big black trash bag. And I'm like, oh my God, can I just like throw this in the dumpster? So I grab a pile out, and it's like football. Like, oh, there's some decent stuff in here. And it's all sleeved. The thing is, it was all sleeved. If it wasn't all sleeved, I'd probably just dump it all on the floor and most of it would be thrown in the trash. But like 95% of the cards in this trash bag were all sleeved and they're in good shape. And there's some like numbered cards. Most of this, I've already filled one 4-row box. It's all football. I've already filled one 4-row box, and we're talking Barry Sanders, Brett Favre, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Marvin Harrison. There's a lot of numbered cards. It's going to go in a quarter box. So I'll be at the Janesville Card Show Saturday, April 13th. I'll be set up. I'll have at least 2 new boxes of football in the quarter boxes. I'll definitely have 1 new box of baseball. So this is a Chad Johnson Bowman. This is numbered out of 500. Here's a Peyton Manning insert. I was pulling all the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's. There's a bunch of Tom Brady's. I think I pulled 20 Tom Brady's so far. This, I was a little disappointed. I thought this one might be worth a little more. I'll probably list it in my eBay store for $20. It's Peyton Manning, 2005, Donruss Zenith, and it's numbered out of 100. And I saw some like numbered out of 250. We're going for like $5 to $10, and I'm like, oh, I was hoping that would be a little more. A lot of Peyton Mannings. Here's the Jerry Rice Absolute Memorabilia. This is numbered out of 250. So low numbered of Hall of Famers, easy money. What's that? Reggie Wayne, numbered out of 500. A lot of Topps gold, some Topps black. Lavernius Coles, numbered black out of 53. What else? Just a lot of more blacks. Brian Urlacher Topps gold. So some fun stuff. Joe Montana. I think this is numbered. Yeah, this is numbered out of 389. Kind of a random number. It's a thicker card. So fun stuff. There was also a binder in another binder, a football binder, and it had a bunch of Wisconsin Badger team issue cards. Now I've sold a Derek Watt for like $20, but I've never found a JJ Watt until now. So there's actually 2 of them in here. I believe this is JJ Watt's first ever card. He's a sophomore in this. So I think this is 2008 or 2009. Back of the card says 2008 redshirted 2008 season, sophomore defensive lineman. So that's, and then there's one other one. I think it's a Best Buy. There's Melvin Gordon. So those are always fun finds. And those Wisconsin Badger team issue cards, I sell a bunch of them on eBay. And they go for a couple bucks each, even the guys that never made it to the NFL. So those are some of the finds. Again, I just scratched the surface on this Goodwill pallet. I think it's the 16th Goodwill pallet that I bought. I just had the trash bag, looked at some of the binders, and then there was a tub. I haven't even opened the back hatch to dig through the other stuff. Flawed Thinker says, I believe Justin Timberlake bought MySpace. I don't know. That could be a joke. See, that would be a line in like, what's that game show? Two Truths and a Lie, or whatever that show was, where there's two true statements and one lie. That could be in there, and I'm like, that could be true. I don't know. Is it true? Christian still has his Lions starter jacket from 1992. Still wear it shoveling snow to this. That's amazing. I do not have any of my original star. I think I actually have an Iowa Hawkeyes jacket. And my mom I still had it up until like a year or two ago. Like I personally didn't have it at my house. It was still at my mom's house. And she's like, "Do you want your Iowa starter jacket?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Are you sure it's still really nice?" And I'm like, "I would never wear it." And I never thought I should have put it on eBay. But that was not my original start, like Orlando Magic. That probably got tossed because I wore that shit. I wore that all the time. The Iowa jacket, I probably got that in the late 90s. I had some others. I actually had a New York Knicks starter jacket. I was the kid that just wore anything sports related. I didn't have, like, now it's like I don't want to wear other teams. But when I was a kid, I wore, and it wasn't just like, I wasn't a bandwagon fan. I just, if it was cheap and on sale, it's like, ooh, I want to buy this. So I had, like, that's why I had a Yankadare New Jersey Nets jersey. I just, if it was on sale, it's mine. Shane says, "I'm making a MySpace and getting rid of Facebook. I'm going to need a Hobby Evolution page on MySpace. How long will this take you?" Well, I didn't create the Facebook page. John Keating, get on the horn. Or Shane's got to make my MySpace page. Flawed Thinker says that's a cool card. St. Louis legend, Ryan Howard. Short but really undervalued career. Too bad he had to play with the MLB's biggest douche next to him. Who was that? Chase Utley? Who was the biggest douche in Philadelphia? How much do you pay for a pallet of cards? It's about 600, I think. I think this one was 600. They've gone up. The last couple have gone up because they price it per pound. So I'm paying per pound. And it's around $1 a pound. I think when I first started buying them, they were around 80 to 85 cents a pound. Now I think, because I think this one was right around 600 pounds and it was about $600. So about $1 a pound for cards. That's the market rate. How come they don't advertise that on the Market Watch? And the price of baseball card corns is up a penny to $1.01 this week. Shane says, if I remember right, Shane, if you were here, correct me if I am wrong. But when I used to help Shane rip product, we would hit a lot of Ryan Howard cards. Philly Joe says, Ryan Howard, my favorite Philly from the 2000s. Flawed Thinker says, my youngest son is starting to graduate from Pokemon to sports cards. So I bought him a binder and said he had free reign on my bulk boxes. He skipped the penny cards and found the dollar cards. He's off to a good start. The big piece, Ryan Howard, 2008 world champion. Shane says, I figured a Bowman's Best rookie auto of Ryan Howard would be worth more than $60. And this, I don't even think it's worth 60. Let's see. It's 2003 Bowman's Best auto Ryan Howard. Actually, let's look at the most. There's one on eBay as low as $30. Sold. PSA 8 sold for, after shipping, $53. A raw sold for $32. Another raw sold for best offer $40. So yeah, it's going to be a $25 to $30 card. Brian Wolf, what's up? Good morning. Had to watch women last night on Spanish ESPN. Not sure how I have that channel, but win-win. Mark says, I saw Ryan Howard play in Batavia, New York when he was playing in the rookie league for the Phillies. He was great with the young fans, signing autographs behind the dugout. Always good to hear stories like that. Duke says, are Goodwill pallets always full pallets that you need a truck to pick up, or are they ever small enough to load up in the trunk of a car? It depends on the size of the car. If it's a Prius, it'll take a few Priuses to put a pallet in. So I have a Ford Edge SUV. I fill the entire back hatch, plus I use the back seat. So that's about, it'll take an SUV. I doubt you can put it in a car. If you have a bigger car, you might be able to fit it like in the passenger seat, in the back seat, and in the trunk, but probably going to need an SUV. Let's see. Mark still has his Knicks starter jacket. Max says, yes, Utley, right up there with Joe Mauer for my unlikable pretty boys. The Unlikable Pretty Boys sounds like a pop band. Starring Chase Utley and Joe Mauer. So that's what I had for today. Flawed Thinker says, well, you're at least $25 closer to paying for the pallet. Absolutely. That's how I look at it, because when I started buying these pallets, like $25 card, I didn't expect to get a $25 card. I thought it was all going to be $2 cards. So I was pleasantly surprised on pallet number 1 when I found a Joe Mauer, Mike Trout rookie card. And I sold it at the right time. Got $600 for it. And I found some other great finds. Typically, it's bulky. I'm not going to find too many $100 plus cards. I can probably count on one hand how many $100 plus cards. I'm trying to think. It's 4 for sure. So probably can count on one hand. Shane says, buy a minivan. They are the best. You will thank me later. No! Buy an SUV. Just get an SUV. Or you could always, if you don't want to change cars, you could always rent like a U-Haul van for a day. And I think that's fairly like $50. I would say if you could get a pallet for, some of the auctions go really high. And I wouldn't pay, I wouldn't pay that. And they got to be local. They got to be local to you also. If they're local and it's a good price, $50 easy, additional $50. There you go. Stuke says Mauer came from a family that lived with his grandparents to the Baseball Hall of Fame and the game he loved to play. Shane says get a minivan with hideaway seats. Minivan. Why are you vouching for minivans? Are you trying to make minivans cool? Max, what's up? In June 2009, MySpace employed approximately 1,600 employees. In June 2011, Pacific Media Group and Justin Timberlake jointly purchased the company for approximately $35 million. That's from Wikipedia. Thank you, Max. So it was a true statement. Porter says, get a minivan with the hideaway manhood. Shots fired. All right. That's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow my countdown. We're at 999,916 Cubs cards, 999,917 coming up soon. I will hit 1 million this Friday. Where and when? TBA. You'll find out. Also, maybe we'll touch on it tomorrow. Bowman's checklist was out. I'm always excited for Bowman. 2024 Bowman comes out next month. I like that Topps is releasing checklists a month in advance. That's amazing. So I think May 8th is release day for Bowman, somewhere around there. But the checklist is out. I believe pre-order goes live today on Topps.com. So I've got to set a reminder for that. So we'll talk about Bowman tomorrow. Unicorn Cupcake says, I think Ashton Kutcher was in on that buy as well. Shane says, I did make them cool when I bought one 2 years ago. They are the best. Shane says, it's already hidden. I don't change my own oil. Orlando can't wait till Friday. Find out what the millionth card will be. By the way, I don't even know what the 1 millionth card will be, but I'll get it on Friday. And you will hear about it. Red Rum, thank you for stopping in. Porter says, no reason to change your own oil these days as long as you know how to do it. Have a great day. Thank you. Like, subscribe. See you tomorrow.